Hello and welcome to another Doctor's Assistant 1 video, and today I'm doing a Doctor Who Big Finish audio collection update video. RIP me, because I've had two little stubbies, nothing much to actually drink of alcohol. Oh yeah, I've had a little bit of alcohol, which is probably quite a bit for me because I don't drink a lot on a personal level, and also I've got RIP all of this to go through. Yeah, this is going to be a long one, so hopefully you like the longer videos. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, hopefully I'll rattle through all these very quickly. Also, RIP me, because I have no idea how I'm going to remember how to put them all back in the wardrobe where I store my physical versions of my Big Finish audios. And yeah, if you've been a long enough subscriber, which hopefully if you're viewing this you are, or have been, congrats, congratulations. And also, what was I going to say? Also, the main reason why I mention it is because the last time I did a Doctor Who Big Finish audio collection update video was a year ago. It was the beginning of 2019, so we're in February 2020 of this recording, and yeah, it is the 9th of February if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So yeah, what better way to start off with Legacy of Time, which is the 20th anniversary limited edition that I got back in July of 2019. My limited edition number is 1285 out of 4000. And yeah, pretty awesome really. Release, the only, as you can see, sort of limited edition-y sort of sleeved cover version that I've got of anything really. Although saying that, in this recording I'll give you a little bit of a sneak peek. I do, as they say, thing of things to come, update maybe even. Channel update of sorts, maybe, I don't know, or just an update to all this, as it were. I do want to get the awesome sounding Masterful box set, but I will probably pre-order that middle of this year, maybe latter end of this year. But yeah, I definitely need to try and get the pre-order in before the limited edition runs out, because there is a limited edition one of those, and I think that might be 8 discs. And I can't remember how many discs off the top of my head this is. It may be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it may also be 8 discs as well. 6 stories, an hour or so long each, and then yeah, and then two discs for the bonus features, which are 2 hours long. So yeah, that's the thing. I don't know what order to do any of this in, because yeah, there's so much to get through, even though part of me's like, oh, this is a lot, but it looks like a lot when it's in a more confined space. And then also I've seen Pertwee Smith-11's Big Finish audio collection, as well as TJ Productions back in the day when he used to be into Doctor Who a lot. Unfortunately he's not anymore, but either way, I've seen other people who have massive physical collections of Big Finish audios, so this is like a drop in the ocean. This is probably, maybe at most, not even maybe 1% of their output, really, their physical output, which is just insane, really, when you think about it. Dark Eyes, astonishing series, really love it. If I'm not mistaken, I got this copy in particular from my friend at the time, Michael. My friend Michael, and yeah, so thanks for him, or to him, for getting me this. Me and him used to proper gush over this release all the time back in the day, back in school and stuff. Yeah, really fantastic Big Finish audio sort of box set, even really the quintessential box set that got me into Big Finish audios, even though I know J. Arkham Reviews says that this is not a good starting on point. I may have to disagree with him, but then again, opinions, you know, you do you, mate. I know that other companions up until this point, I'm pretty sure, either leave McGann or die, or it's pretty much heavily implied that most of his companions die, and that's what's so tragic about his incarnation and whatnot. Moving on to the 4th Doctor sort of pile, and that I've got Tom Baker at 80. Love this man, and just the man, the myth, the legend, Tom Baker at 80. I wish I'd got this before I got the 501 Doctor Who magazine issue, because that was like very much a big sort of Tom Baker omnibus sort of release of, like, you know, this is going to be his last definitive interview thing, and it's a compilation of everything from, you know, the 1970s, the 20th anniversary, the 50th, the Big Finish stuff. Everything was in there. Stuff that isn't even Doctor Who related. I read that in like 1 or 2 sittings, and that's saying something because I'm dyslexic, so yeah. So my reading isn't great, but yeah, phenomenal sort of 2-hour audio listen, or no, not 2 hours, but still, it's a really good interview. As I say, if you've got that release, maybe you don't have to pick this up, but it's basically like the highlight reel of that Doctor Who magazine release, basically. Moving on, we've got the 7th series of the Fourth Doctor Adventures, 7th series, Volume 2. I'm pretty sure I've reviewed this on the channel, the one with Sutekh. If you want a more in-depth review, or more in-depth thoughts on this, please do check out that review. Likewise with pretty much all of these, because I've got them all. I've got them all. I've listened to them all, even, is what I meant to say. So, Series 6, Episode 3, Silent Screams. I wasn't a big fan of it, unfortunately, by James Goss. The Eternal Battle, Kevin Scott and Mark Wright. Fantastic audio, really loved this one. Series 6, Episode 2, strongest one of Series 6 thus far. I've got a newer one recently, the 4th one, but I'll get to that in a minute. The Beast of Kravanos, Justin Richards. Again, I didn't reckon much to it, but I remember TJ Productions back in the day said that he loved it, so, you know, but I didn't really reckon much to the first episode of Series 6, Episode 1, unfortunately. Maybe I just don't like Season 18 Tom, because he's not proper, you know, Tom Baker, you know, would you like a jelly baby? You know, he's more, Tom Baker, I fucking hate everything, sort of thing. War Against the Land by Nicholas Briggs, Series 2, Episode 3. Pretty decent conclusion from what I remember of War Against the Land and Sands of Life and whatnot. Romana 1 is pretty decent in this. Mary Tam's pretty cool, and that's saying something from someone, or that's saying something from someone who's not a biggest fan of her. Romana back in the day. I like Romana 2 more, but that's just me. Sands of Life, pretty cool sort of story from what I remember. It's nothing, the 2-parter isn't too outstandingly intense or anything. And then Series 2, Episode 1, Antimatter, Jonathan Morris. The other 2 were both written by Nicholas Briggs, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they were alright, but this one is pretty alright as well, but I remember it being quite funny. It's, think Unicorn and the Wasp, but with the 4th Doctor and Mary Tam as Romana 1. So basically, if you like the new series and and Unicorn and the Wasp, then this is the Big Finish audio for you, really. Because it's, yeah, that sort of era, the 1920s of Britain, and yeah, them two. And yeah, there's some funny lines. It's pretty sort of Agatha Christie-esque and that. Series 1, Episode 6, Osiren Adventure, Alan Barnes. Meh. I didn't reckon much to it, even though the Crawl are pretty cool in Android Invasion, but meh, they're not great here. Trail of the White Worm, Alan Barnes again. I think this one's a better one, setting up a world. Series 1, Episode 5. Really cool. Jeffrey Beavers is awesome in this. It's more atmospheric. It's just the better one of the 2, I think, personally. It starts off strong, the 2-parter, and then kind of gets weaker later on. Energy of the Daleks, one of my earliest, if not first, maybe 4th Doctor stories and all Big Finish audios that I ever bought, I think. One of my earliest, definitely, if you go back on my channel and see my really early terrible reviews of Big Finish audios. Nicholas Briggs, again, bringing his A game. I think this is one of his stronger stories he's ever done. And that, a Dalek story, kind of like Bells of St. John, but with the with Daleks and Leela and that. But again, more in-depth reviews will be on the channel if you want to see That, Wrath of the Iceni by John Dorney, 1.3, the highlight of the first series, these two releases. Oh, and I've done an overview of the first series of the Fourth Doctor Adventures series. So all of the ones that have 1 point something, and I've said of in the first series, I've done an overview of all of them on the channel. So yeah, The Renaissance Man by Justin Richards, 1.2. So the second one in the first series. Destination Nerva, Nicholas Briggs, 1.1. The first one in the Fourth Doctor Adventure series, which was originally going to be done with Elizabeth Sladen, but unfortunately by the time Tom had decided to join Big Finish and do the audios, Elizabeth Sladen had unfortunately already passed away, so then they do them with the Leela instead. Emissary of the Daleks, 254 in the month range, by Andrew Smith. I have reviewed this on the channel, so if you want an in-depth review of that, feel free to check that out. I think I gave it a 9 out of 10, or an 8 or 9 out of 10. Really good, strong Colin Baker story from what I remember. Warlock's Cross by Steve Lyons, 244 in the monthly range. I didn't really like this one. Also, it's part of a trilogy, but also, as I say, it's just... I fell asleep, I think, partway through it, which seems to be a common theme with some Sylvester McCoy stories. Don't get me wrong, I adore his Doctor. It's just I fell asleep through Ghostlight, I think, one of the few first time or second or third time maybe I tried to watch it once or twice. Can't even remember, but as I say, I fell asleep through Ghostlight, but I've also slept through Warlock's Cross, so that's how I really tell if a story's really sort of dull, boring, and not interesting, to me anyway, personally. Andrew Smith, again, Hour of the Cybermen, absolute stellar story. I think I gave it a 10 out of 10, 240 in the monthly range, absolutely adore it. I want to let one of the staff at Specialist Autism Service borrow that one because it's so good. Iron Bright, Chris Campman, I don't know how you pronounce his name or his story. Sorry about that. I'm dyslexic, so my reading isn't brilliant. But 239 in the monthly range. I know Pertwee Smith 11 really liked it, but I wasn't too won over by it. Lure of the Nomad by Matthew J. Elliott. I've not reviewed it on the channel, and therefore I can't give any opinions at all, or even more in-depth opinion of it elsewhere. 238 in the month range. I like the cover, I like the idea of it as well. Haliax Rift by Scott Hancock, the beginning of the unit trilogy for 2018. I've listened to this once, 237 in the month range. I kind of liked it. I mean, it was a pretty decent starting point for the unit trilogy from what I remember. Unfortunately, as of this recording, I haven't done a unit trilogy overview, which includes Haliax Rift, Hour of the Cybermen, and Warlock's Cross. I really do want to re-listen to all three of those stories, and then do, as I say, overview of all three of them, kind of like how I did the overview for the Fourth Doctor Adventure Series 1. Silurian Candidate, ironically by Matthew J. Elliott, again, really good story. I think I gave it an 8 or a 9 out of 10. I really did enjoy it. From what I remember, really good Sylvester McCoy story. Sophie Aldred's good in it, Mel's good in it, the Silurians are pretty cool, you get dinosaurs, you get all sorts of cool stuff. We Are the Daleks by Jonathan Morris. Fantastic story with Mel and the Seventh Doctor incorporating video games, and you know, you've got this Dalek that looks like it's part of a building, and just all these different concepts. And you know, when people say to me that there's nothing you can do new with the Daleks, I need to give them this, We Are the Daleks, because they are wrong. So very, very wrong. Likewise with this story as well, We Are the Davros. Curse of Davros, which is like, if people say there's nothing more to do with Davros as a character, they're wrong as well, because yeah. Also, this is 201 in the monthly range. We Are the Daleks, and Silurian Candidate with 229 in the monthly range. I can't remember if I even mentioned that. We Curse of Davros, Jonathan Morris, 156 in the monthly range. Really good historically sort of story. I like Flip. I'm pretty sure I've reviewed this on the channel. I hope I have, because again, if I unfortunately haven't, I have the pleasure of re-listening to it and then reviewing it, because I adore Curse of Davros. I'm pretty sure I give it either a 9 or a 10 out of 10. Yeah. Ugh. Jesus Christ on a going over some of the newest releases I have in my collection. If you have me personally on Facebook, you'll know this already, because I took a picture of some of these on my personal Facebook profile. But anyway, Doctor Who Dark Universe by Guy Adams. I loved the sound of the trailer. Haven't listened to it or reviewed it on the channel yet. So yeah, 260 in the monthly range. So as of this recording, it's the most up-to-date release in the monthly range. I told you I'd get back to the 6th series of the 4th Doctor ones with Deathrax. I haven't listened to this one yet. It just intrigued me, the bio and that, and just the synopsis and that. Yeah. The Creeping Death, Roy Gill. Kind of wanted to get historical for the 10th Doctor series, because I don't think prior to getting this one I had one. I've heard Galfrey Forever 97 said there was like a really oh shit moment at the end in his review, and that piqued my interest, as well as it being, as I say, an excuse to get historical, 10th Doctor, Donna, really interesting time period and concept, what's not to like. 1 Mile Down by Jenny T. Colgan, the Judoon, kind of wanted to get it, you know, because I like the Judoon. Haven't listened to it or reviewed it yet. I was gonna a couple days before Fugitive the Judoon, but instead I just rewatched Smith and Jones. But I cannot wait to listen to this one, because it'll be really interesting to have some more material with the Judoon. And yeah, then the last 2 10th Doctor ones I have got in my collection, I've listened to and reviewed. Cold Vengeance, Ice Warrior Story, Rose, Billie Piper, she's awesome in this. I quite liked her in this from what I remember. I have got a review of it on the channel by Matt Fitton. These are both part of the 3rd series. The first 2 I mentioned, Creeping Death and 1 Mile Down. They're both of the 3rd series of David Tennant ones. This one's of the 2nd one. And then the last one that I've got, which is Technophobia, is part of the 1st one, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, is literally the first official sort of 10th Doctor one adventure series-y thing that he did with Catherine Tate. And yeah, it's basically, think Bells of St. John with David Tennant and Catherine Tate. So if you like the sound of that, then you'll like this one. And again, I've got a review of it on the channel, and I think I gave it an 8 or a 9. Very strong sort of story. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Why did I have to move all of these things so far away from my person? Oh god. Fantastic. We're kind of having technical difficulties. Hold on a moment. God. Well, we got there in the end. Last couple of stuff, it's mainly just box sets and stuff now. Yeah. What have we got left? We've got Gallifrey series, Volume 2. Yeah, I've already pre-ordered, as if recording, the third one. Again, much like with the Fourth Doctor Adventure series, Series 1 and the Fourth Doctor Adventure series, no, the Unit Trilogy that I want to do an overview. I want to do an overview of the Gallifrey Time War box set series, but obviously I have to wait on box set 3 and 4. But yeah, really good box set from what I remember. I've got a review of it on the channel, so if you want to watch that or get more of an informed opinion, please do check that review out. Then you've got the Gallifrey Time War box set volume 1. Amazing box set from what I remember. Really good box set. Really solid foundation in that. Again, in-depth review on the channel. Please do feel free to check that out. Last box set here, this little pile, is the 8th Doctor Time War box set volume 3. From what I remember, I really liked Fugitive in Time and the War Valiard, I think. Or maybe Famished Lands, but not so much State of Bliss. I can't remember really off the top of my head. But again, I've reviewed that box set on the channel. Yeah. What else? We've got the War Doctor box set, Infernal Devices, the second box set of the War Doctor box sets. Off the top of my head, I remember not really liking it that much. I'd have to re-listen to it and then, as I say, review it or whatever. I don't think I've reviewed any of the War Doctor series on the channel, unfortunately, for whatever reason. Just haven't got around to it. I have listened to them all on the channel, or just in my spare time, but haven't had the chance to review them yet. So yeah, I would really like to re-listen to box sets 1 through 4, and then obviously review them all on the channel, and then do an overview of the War Doctor series, because some fans like J. Ackham Review don't like the idea of the War Doctor being in audio. Some fans like myself don't mind it. It's very interesting sort of thing there, I think, anyway. Idavros, number 4, Guilt. Then, where the hell's the rest of the Idavros series? Right at the bottom. Great, fantastic. Idavros 3, Corruption. Really good series, at least the first 2, because I have listened to the first 2 and reviewed them on the channel of the Idavros series. Idavros Innocence, Terry Malloy gives a phenomenal sort of performance, and that. Idavros Purity 2. I don't know if you can still get these physically, the Idavros series, but if you can, I very much encourage you to get them ASAP, because again, they're just fantastic. It's a prequel mini-series to a prequel, if that makes sense, because Genesis of the Daleks is already kind of like a prequel on the Daleks, but then the Idavros is kind of a prequel specifically on Davros and how he was as a character before Genesis of the Daleks, and then it kind of eases you into Genesis of the Daleks. It's incredible. 8th Doctor Adventures, sort of Blood of the Daleks Part 1 and 2, the starting point of the 8th Doctor Adventure series. I've listened to them both years ago at my friend Michael's, I think, and I started to listen to Part 1 once, then I kind of got a bit bored and preoccupied, wanted to do something else, but then, so I haven't re-listened to them both, but have listened to them at least once, sort of, as I say, but haven't reviewed them on the channel. And that's all I've got of the 8th Doctor Adventure series, if you were wondering. What else? Companion Chronicles, I've got The Time Vampire. Pretty decent from what I remember. One of my earliest Big Finish audio reviews of sorts, I think. or one of my older ones. I think I gave it a 7 out of 10, a 7 or an 8. Invasion of Eastbase, this has been notorious for not being able to be uploaded to YouTube for whatever reason, like the video file always corrupted. Andrew Smith again. I have actually got a review of this now on the channel, but because of that, I've listened to it what feels like 1,000 times. Like, I legit have listened to it like 4 or 5 times and tried to then review it, and then the file corrupted, so or like just the upload just didn't work for whatever reason, probably bad internet on my part. So yeah, that's probably very much clouded my review of this. Little bit of a secret behind the scenes thing there. And as I say, yeah, it's pretty sort of meh, really. I think so. Actually, it might have been really good. I can't remember now. But anyway, the last 2 companion chronicle stories I've got are the 2 that I got for Christmas, if you recall, if anyone's bothered watching the video of stuff I got for Christmas, because, you know, that's the thing I do on my channel, because I'm insane. Bluetooth, or The Bluetooth, with Caroline John, I want to say, the actress who played, I was about to say Joe Grant then, I'm blank, Liz Shaw, and then it might actually even have the Brigadier in it, or maybe she does the voice of the Brigadier. I don't really know. I've not listened to this yet, but I like the Cybermen. I mean, I like the Daleks more, but either way, I like the Cybermen somewhat. So yeah, that's going to be cool. And I like the Third Doctor quite a bit, so yeah. Fourth Doctor story, The Beautiful People, that's 1.4 in the Companion Chronicle thing, and then that's 1.3, so they are actually back to back. Also, I really wanted to listen to this one. It kind of sounds like The Girl Who Waited, like the planet Apalachia, but in the classic series with K9 and Romana too. And as I say, I adore Lalla Ward. She just seems like such an awesome, intelligent, sort of down-to-earth, but still, as I say, intelligent, very witty, like-minded, intelligent, sort of feisty, go-gettery type person, you know, either in real life or just as the character, but yeah. What else? The rest of the War Doctor box sets, I've got War Doctor box set, Only the Monstrous. I really enjoyed that, from what I remember of it. Like a 3-part, couple-hour long, sort of epic, really, war epic. What a way to kick off the War Doctor series, from what I remember. Again, I really do want to re-listen to these and then review them on the channel. And as I say, do an overview of the War Doctor series. That would be awesome. That would be ideal. Like at the end, the 50th anniversary story, I think it's one of Nicholas Briggs's best Doctor Who stories that I've listened to and or got in my collection personally as of this recording. Maybe something else will beat it, I don't know. Although I've heard people have mixed feelings about Nicholas Briggs as a writer for Doctor Who, but either way, I still think he makes some decent stories. I mean, I quite like a lot of the War Doctor stuff, and because I'm pretty sure he wrote all of the War Doctor, that first box set. And then, yeah, the light at the end, brilliant sort of 50th anniversary. A lot of fans say they like this more than the 50th anniversary Day of the Doctor. I'd say it's equally as awesome. I like this just as much, but for different reasons, if that's fair to say. What else? Casualties of War, the third box set of the War Doctor even. I really can't remember much of it, although there's some funky CD covers. Guy Adams, Andrew Smith, and Nicholas Briggs wrote those, even though I genuinely don't even remember Nicholas Briggs writing a story in that box set. And you've got the Time Controller, I think, Dalek, I think that's what he's called, and you've got Louise Jameson. It's pretty cool. Oh no, actually, Casualties of War is the 4th box set in the series. I think I said it was the 3rd. Agents of Chaos is the 3rd one. I'm not doing these in chronological order, and that's what's fucking with my brain. But yeah, Agents of Chaos I really enjoyed. David Llewellyn, Andrew Smith, and Ken Bentley, really good stories. Cardinal Illustra, Sontarans, and the time controller, who first sort of pops up here. What else? More box sets. Let's just carry on the box set train. The first 8th Doctor Time War box set. Again, I've got a review of this on the channel. Starship Atheus, I have mixed feelings on. Echoes of War, I really liked. The Conscript, I didn't mind. One Life, I didn't like at all, really. And that, unfortunately. The Jenny box set, I have very mixed feelings about this one as well. I have got a review of it on the channel. The Stolen Goods, Matt Fitton, Prisoner of the Ood, John Dorney. Kind of really like that one. Neo Region kind of reminds me of like Praxius now of this recording, with it being in Tokyo, and then Zero Space. I like the idea of having this because it's the closest thing that Big Finish will ever have for quite some time, probably, of a 13th Doctor sort of Big Finish audio box set. I like having this because it's one of the few new series things that I've got other than having David Tennant and all the 10th Doctor series stuff, honestly. I mean, I guess technically the War Doctor's new series, but then in the timeline he's sort of between 8 and 9, and obviously new series to me is 9th Doctor onwards, so yeah, it's really cool, and it's really cool having her because in this box set and on audio, because she's kind of feisty, she's a go-getter, she's, you know, kind of cool, and it's nice that she's got her own spin-off series and all, like, box set anyway. Unfortunately, it's not really gone anywhere. I don't think clearly it did well enough for a second box set, which is really baffling to me, because I would have thought, logically, this would have been way more successful than the Lady Christina box sets, because I genuinely have never seen anyone on any Doctor Who YouTube channel or some of the Facebook groups I'm part of, or sort of friends that I have, none of them have ever mentioned the Lady Christina box sets, but this box set seems to be the more popular one of the two, yet this one doesn't seem to have gone anywhere really, which is kind of weird. 8th Doctor Time War box set volume 2, really strong box set. Really like this one a lot. I love Planet of the Ogrons and Jonah. I love those ones. Those ones are amazing. Funnily enough, they're both by Guy Adams. Oh no, they're not. Sorry, I got that wrong. I thought with Guy Adams being right next to each other, I got confused. Lords of Terror I didn't particularly like, and then In the Garden of Death I as well. But again, I've got a review of this on the channel for an in-depth. Let's rattle through these. Army of Death, it's alright, I guess. 155 in the monthly range. It's part of the Mary Shelley trilogy, this. The Witch from the Well, 154 in the monthly range. I haven't listened to this, so I can't say anything about that. Silver Turk, Mark Platt, 153 in the monthly range. I absolutely adore this one. 10 out of 10 I think I gave it. But again, I've reviewed Silver Turk on the channel. Rubberphobia. Nicholas Briggs, pretty decent, strong story, 149 in the monthly range. Decent enough sequel to Robots of Death. Whether or not you think Robots of Death should have had a sequel is another thing. But then again, there is also a Robots of Death kind of like box set thing, so again, that's even more debatable, but still. 100th release in the monthly range, go figure. I got it from Sheffield Comic Con, I think the first year I went there back in the day, back in 2015. I haven't listened to it or reviewed it on the channel, so I can't say much on that. ID, 94, one of the earliest Big Finish audios I ever got. It's meh, it's alright, I guess, like a 6 or a 7 I think I gave it. Year of the Pig I got for one of my birthdays or Christmas, 90 in the monthly range. I got it from my friend Michael. Haven't listened to it yet, unfortunately. Memory Lane, I really enjoy this one. 88, really solid story, very Black Mirror-esque, and I think I've got a review on the channel. Time Works, haven't listened to it. 80 in the monthly range. Night Thoughts, 79. I can't really remember much of it, of this recording, but I have got a review of it on the channel. Live 34, 74 in the monthly range. Kind of like the long game, but with the 7th Doctor. So if that sounds appealing to you, then Live 34 is for you. Terra Firma, 72. Really like this one with McGann, and Terry Molloy gives a stellar performance. Very chilling sort of performance even. Unregenerated, 70 in the monthly range. Unregenerated kind of reminds me of the Doctor's wife, if it was set in a mental institute. And the 7th Doctor, again, McCoy gives a stellar performance. Very eerie, very dark, very atmospheric, which is a theme with a lot of the old early monthly range stuff. 65, the Juggernauts, Mel, really good. 6th Doctor, Colin Baker, really good. Terry Molloy, the Daleks, the Mechanoids, I think they're called the Mechanoids, all really good. Again, I've got a review of that on the channel. The Last, really dark, 62, McGann and the other companions. Again, it's part of the Divergent universe, very dark stuff. Scherzo, the beginning of the Divergent universe, 52 in the monthly range. Robert Shearman, stellar performance by McGann and India Fisher, because they're like the only 2 people in that release from what I remember. Or yeah, I've listened to it like twice or maybe even a 3rd time, or I do definitely want to listen to it a 3rd time. It's an absolute phenomenal story. Embrace the Darkness, 31 in the monthly range. It's alright. From what I remember, it's like a really poor version of Scherzo, I'm not gonna lie. I think it's by Nicholas Briggs. Yeah, it is one of his weaker stories, honestly. I think at the time when I reviewed it, I probably was like, oh my god, this is amazing, 10 out of 10, but yeah, not so much these days. And here are all of my audios, I guess. And I've got the luxury of trying to organise them and put them away. So yeah, thanks for watching. Feel free to comment, rate and subscribe.